Hello, you are listening to Talking Through the Hat, which is a podcast by me. Please enjoy the show.
And once again, we have a ruined introduction by Brett Gray breathing.
I know, did it intentionally as well. It's fantastic.
Welcome back to another episode. We're live here with Dalek, Brett, Chris, and of course the host of the show and the creator, the founder, and the one that made it possible,
Chris.
me, Adam from AdzProductions. So, how are you guys
I don't
today?
like you having all them titles. None of them were given to you either.
You are my
Massive ego,
minion.
that's the
You
problem.
are my minion.
Your opinion, is it?
Your minion. You're his minion.
That's how bad his connection is. Anyway, so how is everyone today?
Good.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Dead.
So let's get straight to the emails. One of the emails was sent to talkingthroughthehat@gmail.com. What email was it sent to?
Talkingforthehat@gmail.com. And that's
What
where
email?
you can send an email and we'll read it out live on the show.
Yes, we will.
Well, maybe.
We would read it if it was in the chat, but it's not.
You have had.
It's not read.
Yes, it is. It was in the chat.
No, it was before everything went wrong.
Nothing went wrong. You act as if
Oh
this
yeah,
podcast-
nothing went wrong. Everything was fine. It was no technical glitches at all.
The show came straight on, you know. We never had to sit here for half an hour trying to
Oh,
get the show work.
I'll do is I'll read this email out and then it's basically split into two parts. We've got one that's a question for all of us and one that's a question for Chris. So I'll read it all and then I'll direct it to Chris, the one that's for him. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I read it now.
Why don't you read it in
Okay.
parts? Why don't you just read the first part, we'll answer it, then the second
Okay.
part.
We have a question from the original, well, the first person that's ever actually
Our
written to
only
us.
fan.
Our only true fan, Mike Jones, or however he goes by the name of. He says, "Hello again, guys. How are you guys doing? Good, I hope. You like zombies? Question mark. You guys spoke about a zombie guide, comma. I apostrophe VE got a rather large zombie library. I just wanted to know if you guys read any novels containing zombies that you find interesting. Implying I read.
Yeah, you should probably change that and start reading.
None
only
of you
book I've got-
read.
No.
I do.
Yeah, but people with jobs and employment don't have time to read, Chris.
I have jobs. I have jobs and college. Two
I
colleges.
mean, you should have just
And I
said
read.
zombie films and games.
Well,
You can talk about that then.
He's not talking. He's got a rather large library of zombie books. He wants to know about novels. You can't just expect him to.
Well, we don't have any on the list really. I mean, so
Yeah.
Well,
Well, let's go to the novel readers, Brett and Chris, and see what they have to
The
say.
only proper zombie novel that I have is the Zombie Survival Guide, because I'm not big on the whole zombie book thing. I got that book when I was, I want to say 12, from a book.
The only book I've ever read from start to finish is Where's Wally?
that's not
You can't read that.
really a
You
book.
can.
That's not really.
Yeah.
You can look for Wally.
You can look for Wally and you can damn well find him.
Yeah, but that's not reading it, is it? That's
What
looking
defines
that's a
reading?
picture book.
You're reading through the red and black and colours. Reading through the lines.
The question is, if you don't read, do you read picture books?
There's
Well, I
one
used to when I was like, I don't know,
But-
5.
If it's got illustrations, you're looking at illustrations and reading the words. But if it's a picture book, then no.
If it's a picture book and it has no words in it, you still read a picture book.
You don't read a picture book if there's no.
Yes, you do.
There's no
If
words
it's
in
a
it.
book with pictures in it, you read
You
the
read,
book.
there's a title. Well, you read the
that contains
title
pictures.
at most. There's no words in it. You
But
can't
anyway,
read
we're
a picture
we're
book.
staying
You can
on
look
the
at
topic
it.
a little bit here. We have to
A
answer this question.
picture has 1,000 words.
A picture's worth 1,000 words, but it isn't
Oh.
1,000 words.
It just isn't. Shut
It just
down.
isn't.
Anyway,
Not
to
that, man.
answer
It's
the
not that.
question. Okay. A good book. It's the only book I actually have that contains zombie. Well, it's actually a zombie book. Is Feed, and it's a Myra Grant novel, and it's pretty much blogging during a zombie apocalypse. I've got quite a few other books that have zombies.
Zombie
in it.
pop clips, yeah.
Yeah, I can't say that word. I've
Apocalypse.
All right.
I've quite a few other books that contain zombies. However, it's less sort of realistic. Well, not really realistic, but set in the real world.
Zombies novels known for their realism.
Yeah, well, my books are less set in the real world, and the more fantasy books that contain like undead sort of zombie stuff, you know, like Morgworld and all that.
So
Yeah. I'm not really a big fan on zombie books either. I've only got the one. I think H.P. Lovecraft, he has a couple of good zombie books I've never read. 'Cause I don't like him, to be honest. He's not very good. I'm not going to say he's not very good because obviously he's a lot better than me.
Yeah, they get a cult after you.
Yeah. Yeah, because everyone fucking, thousands of people love him. It's a cult surrounding. I've never actually seen him, though. Yeah, so...
Secondly, we have a Dear Chris. This is again from Mike Jones. He says, Dear Chris. He does actually point out the fact
Can I
that
read this?
Sure, but he does actually point out that he wants us to answer this as well as Chris, but
Yeah, no.
Chris is sort of like a pro.
Alright. Dear Chris, directed at him, but I would love to hear your opinions too.
Not supposed to read the brackets.
Oh, you do parentheses. Parentheses?
Parentheses, son! You know?
I've been thinking about starting something up on the internet, a blog or YouTube channel maybe. I just want to find a way to express myself to an
Guys.
audience.
It's going to be a while.
Do you have Do you have any tips or advice? It says advice, but it should be advice. That you could offer me. Thanks, guys. Loving the show, Mike.
Well, let's. I think, to be honest, we need Brett is not going to be involved in this conversation at the moment. At any point, he's not a content creator, so he can GTFO.
I can point out that we have like no fans other than you, Mike. So be prepared to have no one following your stuff.
Right, Chris is gone, so this is no longer a Dear Chris, so we're going to answer it.
It's all falling apart.
Let me just describe to you how I started my YouTube channel. It was around 2007. It was in November.
Yeah, guys.
No, seriously, just listen. I mean,
It was a bright and sunny day. Inspiration was flowing through the air, so I thought, you know what? Because this is at the time I was building my new computer and stuff, so I was like, oh my god, got to look at all the parts of the internet, and yeah, I found the parts I wanted. Blah 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 blah. I ordered in a motherboard. I think that was one of my first ever videos. Was the motherboard one? I ordered in a motherboard, and because I got the motherboard based on videos that I'd watched on YouTube. So basically, I went on YouTube and typed in the motherboard. So yeah, continuing on where I was. Sorry about that. We had another technical problem based on Pamela being an ass, pretty much. So yeah, I just got the motherboard and decided to make videos online, and then I sort of made a channel from it. So you can start from anything really. And so yeah, sorry about that, Chris. We're just taking over from you because you disconnected. And considering it's a Dear Chris, it's kind of important you're here. But yeah, go ahead, Chris, and say what you think.
Yeah. So the advice I'd probably give you is the idea that you creating content and sticking it on the internet is kind of like you sitting on an island, like a deserted island, and just creating letters in a bottle. So every time you upload a bit of content, like a blog or YouTube, whatever you plan to do, it's just like you chucking a bottled letter out into the ocean. The chances of someone actually finding your letter and reading it is very slim, but the more you chuck them out, the higher chance someone has to read it. So the advice I can give you, if you enjoy doing it, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it again and again. And take criticism of people, allow people to give you some criticism, some advice.
Constructive criticism!
Yeah, but don't change your style or what you're doing, okay? Just don't change everything. There's 7 billion people on this planet. There's hundreds of thousands of people who are bound to share the same interest as you, and they're going to want to read it. You just need to make sure they do read it. So just keep going, and the fans will come in. That's the advice I can give you, is just to keep working at it, and eventually you have an audience. The bigger the audience, the faster it grows, because more people are like, oh, have you seen his content? It's good.
And
so that's just what you do.
Yeah, to be honest, I think one of the main reasons he sent that mail is because he has watched some of the content you've created, Chris, and just sort of, it's good to sort of talk to people we haven't really been there, done that, because you can't really finish making YouTube videos, can you? You can't really get to a peak with YouTube. You just carry on going, and then it just...
Well, unless you stop.
Yeah, but that's not a peak, is it? That's just a fail.
That's the ending. That's the worst part of the thing.
So the peak so far on my YouTube thing has to be when, even though nothing actually happened, when I actually managed to pick up sort of a kind of professional contract with Best Buy UK, even though they don't exist here anymore. But it's sort of, I never expected to be able to one day make videos online and get paid for it, because that's what it comes down to. You can actually make money of doing stuff that takes minimal effort and you love doing. I mean, what?
Yeah, when I did my gaming videos, the peak of my gaming videos is when I got invited to the Eurogamer as a press member. My opinion mattered to some people. That's what it's all about. There's no greater feeling than creating content, adding it to the internet, and actually having people watch it and go, "That's good. Keep going." There's no better feeling on this earth.
Alright, so you have to say?
That's it, really. I can't really give you more advice. It's more of a do and learn experience, Mike. You're going to start, you're going to fail, you're going to cry, but you're going to stand up and just.
But at the end of the
yourself.
day, you'll always be the guy with the AOL email address, so it cannot get much worse than it already is.
You know, you're already at the bottom, Mike. Okay, you were the scum of the earth. You know.
Okay, next.
It's
Next.
only up here.
Yeah, anyway, so my advice is,
Be right back.
if,
No, like for real, be right back.
okay, well, my advice is, make a channel, spread it around a little bit and tell some people, try and get people to, word of mouth, basically. That's how it all starts off, I suppose. It may take, some time, either a long time or a, short amount of time to get a little bit of attention, but the main goal of it really is to enjoy it. If you enjoy making it and you don't care about views or anything, or
You shouldn't really care about views, should you? That shouldn't be of importance. Don't do something just so you can become like famous on the internet. That's just retarded. Just do something you enjoy, and then eventually it will become famous if you keep at it.
yeah. And if you want to go more into detail about certain topics, like probably make a blog spot or something, because that's what some gamers on YouTube have, and I too, which is what you should probably use as well. So yeah, just enjoy doing it and post regularly. And yeah. So next topic. Anyone?
There is one.
No, we're just going to have to wait Adam to get back and spout something out interesting.
Yeah, Adam's not going to come back for a while.
And Chris just died. Fantastic.
It's just me and you, Dalek.
It's just me and you trapped in an island full of zombies.
And bottles. We have to throw the bottles at the zombies and hope one of them dies. Before we die.
Hang on. I see one right now.
Do you intend to take some bottles?
No, I got a bunch of empty cider bowls right next to me.
I'm back now,
Because that's not an alcohol habit.
I have a question.
No, they're like from 5 months ago.
I have empty cider bottles right next to my desk. I'll just clink them around.
I have a
perfect.
question for a sec. I have a question.
Yeah.
If I'm in Portal 2,
Chris, you're echoing, Chris.
I'm in Portal 2 right now, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm recording on Fraps.
Yeah.
If I were to tab out, would that end the recording?
If it's full screen, then yes, it will.
Oh god, so I have to play Portal
So-
for the next 45 minutes.
No. Just press the button that you press to start recording, and then it will stop, right?
Yeah, but I don't really want to stop the recording.
Well, just quick. All you have to do is just quickly make the game windowed mode, and that's it. And then you can quickly go back, so we can just quickly pause the podcast.
No, but I'll play Portal. I don't mind. I'll play Portal.
Yeah, but everyone
Just-
hit.
Okay, and forget I said anything. Carry on with the discussion. Sorry, I just interjected the podcast.
The conversation just ended.
If you start playing the game, then the sound would
That'll be
be
a new, because I play games and don't finish them. This could be a way that I could complete games once a week. I could work on it for an hour at a time. I'd be forced to play the games.
Because that won't take forever.
Yeah, it's going to be
Well,
angry video game nerd style.
It'd be fun. Anyway,
I can easily complete Portal in 30 minutes, so I don't really think that's going to take you an hour to complete.
Well, no, unless you're epic at speedrunning and know
is there
what
any
you.
chance you could, come in the chat,
What do you mean?
Chris? Yeah, because it's sort of lagging.
There you go.
There we go. Why is that? I don't understand.
There you go.
Now your audio sounds perfect, and it used
Because
to.
I'm just a god, it just wants me to reevaluate the situation.
It's still got you're the god that produces echo through Skype.
Yeah.
Yeah, shove it away from the speakers.
Move away from the speakers.
Yeah, the mic.
Move away from the mic to breathe in, or whatever it is.
Move away from the
I put my mouth away from
chocolate
the
way.
Some stay dry and others.
Anyway, next topic.
So what's new? Oh yeah, Brett. So what happened at this awkward moment?
Oh, it wasn't one awkward moment. It was several. It was the most fantastic
Do
thing.
you want to give us the backstory, then go into the nitty gritty?
Right. Essentially, it was one of my friend's birthdays the other day. Or it is this week. I'm not exactly sure when it is, and I should know that. I don't care enough to know. Point is, on Saturday, went out for a meal to Frankie and Benny's, which is like TGI Fridays, except worse, in my opinion. Well, TGI Fridays, they do more steaks. It's lovely. I don't like all this, I'll say fancy shit on my burgers and stuff, but cheese isn't really fancy, is it? What am I?
It's like the least
I say
fancy-
this, I do catering. To make
Well, I
to
mean,
make
it's
sense.
something different. I mean, burger on
Yeah,
its
no.
own is a bit boring, but cheese is a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, no, but I had steak and chips, and it was lush. And the little mustard thing I got with it was nice as well. Point is, it was 6 of us, and the group itself just doesn't go well together at all. Because I had fake names up, but I can't remember now. But it doesn't really matter. Point is, there's one guy there who'll call Greg, who's a massive twat. Simply put.
I see.
Yeah, the person whose birthday it was, and her boyfriend are both exes of my mates who, when the boyfriend got dumped, went off with my best mate's current girlfriend.
Wait a second. If you're at home, you should get a pen and paper out just so you can understand the story. Because if
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not going to use fake names, this is about
Right,
to
no.
get confusing.
Right, now I'll just use the first letters. I think I can do that.
Just
Yeah,
say
I
their
can.
first names. They're not. No one's ever going to find out.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. Right. Moira and Josh used to go out with my friends Laura and Lewis. But when Laura broke up with Josh got with Moira while she was with Lewis because they're in a rough patch and she's cheating, and it's all wonderful stuff. So because I'm better friends with the exes, I was walking up having to sit next to them during the entire meal. Then there was Erin and Tony, who were shamelessly flirting throughout the entire night, despite me having been with Erin quite recently, and me thinking Tony's a massive dickhead anyway, because he ruined my friendship with one of my other exes, which is great. The only person who was okay there was Emma, which is charming. Then Erin went off, paid for about half her bill, I think, and ran out the door saying she was ill. Then we went to the pub afterwards. Tony complaining all the time because his legs are too big to fit in the car and he can't stand sitting in the middle. Because I refused
Yeah,
to
let's
move-
just
I
remind people,
refused-
this is real life as well.
This
This
real
is what
life.
happened in real life. This is not him explaining a comedy sitcom. You cannot write this shit up.
No,
You know,
these aren't even jokes.
exes, enemies. This is real life shit going on here.
Yeah. So we get to the pub and Emma's telling a story. I'm not paying attention. I'm on my phone at the time. And somehow Tony manages to piss her off, which isn't surprising, really. I think he said like 2 words. She gets angry, finishes her drink, storms out the door, and then I'm left there for the next 20 minutes with Tony, Josh, and Moira, which is awkward as fuck because Tony likes to make conversation and touching me.
Wait, what?
Like,
Woo!
my hand was on the table and he starts grasping it and stroking it, and that's creepy as fuck.
Wait, wait, a dude or? Because
Yes,
I'm really
Tony is a guy.
confused. Oh dear.
Yeah,
Like Tony the Tiger.
yeah,
That's another twat.
and predatory like a
Yeah,
tiger.
continue.
So I'm there for the next 20 minutes because my dad's not going to pick me up for another 20 minutes because he was out shopping with mum and dad. Well, mum and dad, with my mum. Because he is my dad. But yeah, so I have to wait there for 20 minutes. Tony being a creepy fuck, making awkward conversation. One of the direct lines he said was, "You know what this conversation have in common? They're both empty and hollow." Which was charming. And then I
That
left.
is the most depressing thing ever.
I know.
You know,
I'm
it's
just
not
sorry.
like
Wait,
well, the glass is half full. It's these glasses are empty and hollow.
What does what and what have in common? Sorry, I missed that
This
bit.
this conversation
Yeah.
and this glass have in common. They're both empty and hollow.
Yeah, he must have a point though.
Yeah. He can't stand not being the center of attention though. So, and I can't stand talking to him.
Huh.
And obviously there's more than just a couple, so they're doing coupley things, which is probably the same making out. And yeah, so then I left, and then Tony was left there for another 30 minutes because his friends, well, actually no, it was inverted commas, but you can't see it. His friends were at Frankie Benny's as well when we were there, but 20 minutes after we got there because they were having a meal for one of his friends, and they didn't invite him, and they were a table away. All the while, I'm just laughing to myself, going, they hate you so much, and I hate you too. But yeah, then I left, and he was there for another 30 minutes because they were going to meet him afterwards to say sorry. And yeah, that was my yesterday. Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday.
Good old socially awkward conversations.
I know.
That
Was my most. Just apologise to the viewers if you're bored to death now. Just go back, watch an earlier episode or something on.
Please send all hate mail to talkingthroughthehat@gmail.com. That's talkingthroughthehat@gmail.com. Thank you very much.
I'd say all I can say is that's pretty much a mindfuck because I don't get it.
You didn't understand it, did you?
What bit don't you get?
Well, none of it. I mean, if it started making sense at first, like this person going out with this person and vice versa again. But
Basically, you're saying
Where does
social
that
life. How does it work?
well, no, I'm just saying. There's so it's basically an information overload, basically.
Yeah, it did seem a bit too much. The worst place, yeah.
You should just make it more simple.
The worst place for social awkwardness.
So simply put, Tony's a dick. There.
Okay, that's much better.
Or an awkward bastard.
Carry on, Chris.
The worst place for social awkwardness is the hairdresser. I think that can easily be nominated as the #1 social awkwardness because you go into a hairdresser and no matter who you get, they always want to have a chat with you while cutting your hair. And
Yeah.
it's one of them things, in my head, I think, you're cutting my hair. I want this to be bloody perfect. Don't talk to me while you're doing it.
Yeah.
No. And because, I'm 18, whenever I go in a hairdresser, they obviously just naturally assume I'm the most social person in the world. What's the complete opposite of what's true? So they're like, oh, so what do you have planned next Friday night? Last time I went, I remember getting a woman, and she was started talking about what she did last Friday night, and she was talking about how she went to a sort of party thing, but dedicated, where they collect money for cancer research, so like a charity party, you know what I mean? So she was going on about it. So essentially, what she did in one night was had a good time partying at the same time as collecting money for what's probably one of the noblest charities around. Then afterwards, she just finished it. So what did you do last Friday?
You're like, sit on my computer, play games? Or
that was pretty much what the truth is. But how can I one-up what she did? Unless I turned around and said, I actually cured cancer. Your last Friday was wasted. There was no way for me to beat her. Okay? She'd one-upped me. So I was just there like... Oh,
you should have said you went out
bullshit,
drinking.
oh yeah.
Had a hangover.
I said, that's what I said. I was like, oh, I just went out, went to the pub, had a couple of pints. In reality, because I didn't want to tell her the truth, because the truth was, I was at home, depressed, getting drunk on my own, video games, porn, I couldn't tell her this. This would have made the situation more awkward than it was.
You should be like, oh, I don't want to cut his hair.
Why are these
She's not gonna
hairdressers?
stop.
Why are all these hairdressers like Londoners? That's what I don't understand.
No, I mean, like they just
It's where they're
they
bred.
just look they just look funny, you know what I'm saying? They just
Whoa,
look
whoa, whoa, whoa!
It's just like, I'm pretty sure it's
Can't do
like,
jets.
that's hairist, that is. That's
Some of them
racist
do.
to hairdressers. It's the most
And then,
social awkward thing in the world.
is it me or do some of them like chew gum when you get yours done?
What?
No, I wouldn't accept that.
Are you
because
getting your
I already
hair
know.
cut? Nice and smooth.
That happens to me, man. Like sometimes
That
they
goes
like chewing gum.
That goes to some ghetto hairdresser like underground thing. It's like, here we don't play by the rules. We chew chewing gum whilst cutting hair.
I know
No,
what
but
chewing gum
it's
does in
happened
your
like
hair.
3 times. What does it do? It sticks.
Yeah,
but-
it sticks and you've got to go bald.
No, you don't.
If there was chewing gum while cutting my hair, I'd be like, no. Get it out of your mouth. Okay.
You haven't got to go bald if you get chewing gum in your hair.
You can't just pull it out, can you? You've got to cut it off.
Yeah, you can.
You can pull it out. You just haven't got to be a tard about it. If you like panic and like pull it out, you pretty much
Yeah,
screw
if
everything
you
up.
panic and it'll just get like stuck into your hair more. But
So
if
if you do it like a boss and just like plan the situation and pick your plan of attack and do it, you're sorted, really.
Yeah.
Either way, hairdressers.
Hairdresser.
#1 social awkward place in the world. There should be rules about it, to be honest.
I
It should
don't
be
mind
like, you can't talk.
Etiquette.
So
You don't know what etiquette means? Anyone?
it's manners and politeness.
Yeah, etiquette basically is unspoken rules.
Yeah.
So like,
It's kind of like if you buy a prostitute, you've got to pay her within the first 5 minutes.
can we please go away from this topic of conversation?
No, back
we
to
we,
West
managed
Ham.
we managed to subvert from it for the last 4 episodes. Let's just try and go for a record, yeah?
Sorry, it's just a
Can you,
connection
wait,
between
speaking of that,
prostitutes
can
and
you
hairdressers.
believe, right, that we've actually done this for like 5 weeks?
No, oh my,
This is our
really?
sixth.
Yeah,
This is our sixth week now.
6th week of recording crappy
For us,
podcasts.
Dalek, you've only done 4 weeks.
Oh yeah.
You're not a
So
true
far,
talk.
Rage
You're not.
Quit.
You're not a true member of the Talking Through the Hat show or whatever team. You're not a part of the
Society.
team.
You're an extra now.
You,
You're-
you don't. You
you're-
don't.
yeah.
You
You're
don't.
guest.
You don't contribute. You just leech.
Yeah. All you are at the moment is a
Isn't that
recurring
much?
guest.
Talking through the hat agency
You're just a recurring guest. How does that make you feel?
makes me feel very, very
You're an
special
extra.
because you must treat me like a guest, and I will be served breakfast. Do it right away. I'm a guest.
Damn it, he's got a
We
point
should
right
be
there.
kicked.
Yeah, but you never give guests money. You're the one making all the money. The guest is the one spending it all. So maybe we should start
I'm the
taking
one
money.
spend-
off
I'm the
you.
one
but
spending
yeah,
it.
but you're bringing up to my room. You're the slave, cooking.
Wait, when did this turn
Oh,
into
what is
slavery?
going on?
Oh no.
Oh no.
I don't want to say anything now because I think I'm just going to be helping like Dalek's bondage sort of
What?
fetish he has.
What?
You want
You're
to
like
do your
talking
slave.
about slaves, like bring it to my
Weird.
bedroom.
No, you're meant to be the,
Oh, this is
So-
great.
so-
Tripping over the own words right now. He's like, damn it, they've caught on my plan. No.
No, but I was, I'm meant to be the so-called guest, and people who
You're
are
not a
guests
guest.
at
You're not
places
really a
get
guest. You just
served
act like
special.
a guest. You're sort of like the rebel because you just go, no, I'm not going to do the show this week. Oh, great. Leave all the one fans hanging.
Well, no, I didn't want to
What's
do
your
one of
excuse
the
last
shows
week?
because
Yeah,
we
wait,
spent like an
what,
hour.
what was your excuse last week, Dalek?
I'm going to watch telly with my mum and dad.
What?
That's what you
No,
excuse.
no,
about
no,
wasting
no. I
6
was watching
minutes on
a film. I was watching a film.
What film was it?
But we were
Um,
recording a podcast. Isn't that more important?
Well, no, I had to go watch the film.
Content. We're doing something truly magical.
That we're putting things on the internet that are going to last forever.
Yeah, they're gonna last forever to a few
Till
hundred
nuclear
people.
fallout.
Why don't you few hundred
Till the
people
event.
comment?
Say again.
I said, why don't you few hundred people comment? You'll
What are
get,
you- what are you
bad
saying?
karma.
Say that one more time, but slowly.
The few hundred people, like 200, 161 people that view a YouTube video, that they don't comment, they just look at it.
What's wrong with that?
They will get bad karma if
I
they
watch
do
about
not
90 videos a day on YouTube, and I don't comment on one of them. Doesn't mean I'm not a valued member of the audience.
Well,
Don't-
everyone listens to value, member. We value all of you.
Even if it's not on Podomatic, which, let's face it, probably isn't the case, considering we only get like 13 downloads.
Well,
But
Yeah, that
let's
was
not talk about
first.
statistics. We don't talk about statistics on the podcast.
yeah, don't talk about statistics.
Okay.
That's unprofessional
Talk about
work.
We're meant to be
But we
bad.
need to make more money, so click up. No, I'm joking. Okay.
Here's the thing.
Make
Here's
money,
the-
Jim.
What?
Here's a thing I came up with, okay? We haven't really gone into detail to anyone, like what type of people we are and what we sort of do and all that. So I came up with an idea, okay? So you sort of give people at home listening an idea of who we are, what type of people we do, They know the basics of our lives. But I've got a list of quotes here.
Wait, are they safe?
Yeah.
They're
These
not
are
lots like
full
over
out
personal
quotes.
ones or
No, these
whatever.
are full out quotes. No, they're just
Hello?
quotes. And all I'm going to ask you to do...
Okay.
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, carry on.
Yeah.
All I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to give you the quotes. I'm going to give you the name of the person who did it and what they do. And I just want all of you to dissect the quotes, and give what you feel the quote means.
Okay, so it's
Right.
like a philosophy sort of.
Yeah. So
podcast.
people can, because how you dissect a quote is kind of how you live your life, if you get what I mean. Because it's how you see the world.
Wow, this is getting all intellectual and shit.
Yeah. Some of these quotes are, quite easy to get. Like, that's kind of obvious what he meant. And some of them, they're kind of...
Yeah, I understand.
So yeah, I've got a list here. Okay, the first one's from an author called. You probably know most of the people I've got on the list.
So are we going to let the guest go first, or?
Yeah, Dalek can go first. The first quote is by a man called Stephen Vincent Bennett, who was an author mainly during World War Two and World War One. He was a poet as well.
He's a poet and he didn't know it. Okay.
Yeah. His quote is, "Dreaming men are haunted men."
Take a second to think about that.
Yeah, just take a second to sort of take it in.
Embrace.
Yeah. Dreaming men are haunted men. What do you think this means, Dalek? How do you dissect it and sort of take it in?
I guess people who have nightmares, I suppose, are haunted because.
So you take it quite you think it's quite literal what it means. It's quite.
I mean, wasn't it like World War Two or something?
It is during that period he wasn't.
Yeah, so I mean, it must mean like if you went to World War Two in the war or whatever and went fighting, and if you dreamed, then you're kind of haunted because I guess most people were traumatized by killing people. I guess.
So yeah, you seem to have very like a literal review on it. Then yeah, is that fair to say?
You sort of feel it's exactly what he's saying. It's quite. He's saying.
You're kind of haunted because you're gonna have lots of nightmares.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Valid.
What do you think about it then, Brett? What's your sort of opinion on this?
The way I'm seeing this is men who have ideas and like things they want to aspire to are going to encounter problems on the way, which is where the haunted bit comes in. Like they're dreaming of something better in their life, which they're aiming for, but the haunt is like struggles they're going to encounter on the way, which kind of relates to the war.
So you think that the quote's sort of idea of how people struggle when they go for their cream? It's the struggle during the pursuit.
Yeah, and after as well.
Nah. What do you think, Adam? How do you sort of see the quote?
Well, I see it that you sort of. Can you read me the quote one more time?
It's dreaming men are haunted men.
I believe that this means sort of I have sort of a depressing viewpoint on this, right? Okay, I think it's sort of saying that if you keep hoping and hoping and hoping for better, for more, you're sort of haunted by your own aspiration to succeed. If you get what I mean, so you get.
Yeah. So if you're dreaming about something that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, you're sort of wanting better
So you're never going to achieve it.
You get that next thing that you've been dreaming of, and then you want more, and you're haunted by the plague of wanting to. Yeah, it's kind of a depressing sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, but that's how I sort of take that.
See, this is one of the more better quotes sort of out there because literally we've got three completely different sort of ideas of what this quote could mean. There's the. Yeah. There's the actual sense that the quote is just a quote. That's all. That's all he's saying. There's a sense that he's talking about the horrors and how hard it is to actually pursue your dream. And then there's the idea, if you keep dreaming, and you want better and better, you're not going to get it. It doesn't exist. That's a good one. That's a good quote, to be honest. How about this one? Okay, this one's done by Oscar Wilde.
What about you?
Well, I sort of think the quote's, if you dream, you're dreaming a lot. You're not spending time actually doing. So I think it's more of a...
So you sort of agree with me then?
Yeah, it's the kind of, it's sort of stop dreaming and just get on with it type of thing I think he's trying to go with.
Yeah.
This one's a quote by Oscar Wilde. He's also an author. He was from Ireland. He's the one who has the dickish quote where he was going through immigration at New York and he just, he came and was like, do you have anything to declare? And he thought of the very clever thing to say, I declare only my genius. Yeah, he's a dick. Anyway, his quote is, a man's face is his autobiography, a woman's face is a work of fiction.
What?
Work of fiction? Doesn't fiction mean real, right? Or
fiction
not real?
is not real.
Fiction's
Fiction
fake.
is not
It's,
real.
Well, I guess he's trying to say, what was the thing about the guy? It's biography. Yeah. Well, I guess he's kind of saying that women aren't there. Like, if you look at a woman or a female, I guess that's not their actual true colors. It's not the real thing. And the guy, you can just look at him, and it says everything about him: his clothes, his looks, his facial hair, his face, his eyes, and so on. So I guess he probably had a bad relationship, I'm assuming, since that's a bit biased.
So again, another literal sort of...
Well, I think it's more not he's had a bad relation. You've got to
gay?
remember Oscar Wilde is
You have
in
to
the
let
80s.
Brett go next.
No, it wasn't Oscar Wilde gay.
Well, that's one of the rumours, isn't it? I think it's not really about him having a bad relation anyway. It's more about the time period he was brought up in. This was a time period where, women, all they were was really there was a family, there was a part of the family. They weren't a person as of, a man was his own person, but the woman was just the guy, that she was the person behind the man. If you get what I mean. There wasn't really
Yeah.
independence for women at this time. What do you think of it, Brett?
The way I'm seeing it is another quite literal one, which is a man wears like his scars on his face, like you can see the past in his eyes, but a woman uses like makeup to cover herself up. Like you can't really tell where she's been, what she's done, because she'll just cover up foundation and rouge.
Well,
and
I don't think foundation then.
Yeah.
Well, no,
that's
but
true.
it's the makeup is an idea itself. She used to cover up her past so you can't see anything other than like not a clean slate, but what she wants you to see. Whereas a man doesn't. You just see himself for what he is and the scars on his face.
Yeah.
I have to
Rarely dudes put on makeup.
That's how they're actors.
I have
Yeah,
to say that
true.
I 100% agree with what Brett said on this one.
I think this one's pretty much more of a simple one, because it's more of the idea, like if you go to a construction site or something, most of the men, they don't look the same, but they're similar, aren't they? Like you can expect quite big men, quite chubby, quite a few bald heads and all that. So it's sort of the men, it does their body, how
They're
they look.
basically
and all that.
painting their own picture.
Yeah, it's telling their story. However, like it says, because back then, men weren't vain. Men, they were what they were, type of thing. And even nowadays, there's men out there, they're very fat, they got a bald head and all that. They think they're the sexiest men in the world, though. But women, they're all, like you said, most of them cover themselves up, makeup and all that. So I think it is quite a, this is what it is sort of quote. Okay, the next one is done by a woman called Shirley MacLaine, who was an American actress, singer.
She related to
dancer.
John McClane.
No, McLean.
John.
Hers is fear makes strangers of people who could be friends.
Strangers of people that could be friends.
I can feel the brainwaves coming through the Skype.
I guess it's
Yeah, it's in
saying
the Skype
that...
chat, by the way, for those of you that want to see it.
Oh.
Fear strangers of people who would be friends.
I guess people who are scared, be friends with someone, I guess.
You're not very good at these, are you, David?
No, I don't understand it, really.
I think from hearing your first two, I think you're someone who sort of looks at life very simple, like it's all black and white, sort of. People mean what they say. There's not any sort of hidden message to it.
Yeah.
You're very literal of what you do,
Yeah.
What is this, philosophy and us? Today?
Well, this is what makes us, isn't it?
Philosophy and I.
This is what we are at the end
Who
of it.
is I? A collection of... Anyway,
I
go on.
dream, therefore I am. Oh.
What do you
So
think of this, Brett? What do you think of the quote?
I see it not as the literal one like last time, but more as like if you're scared of something, you won't take a chance. Like the friends example, if like it says strangers, people who would be friends. So if you're scared of talking to someone, you won't be their friend. But I'm not saying it's just friends. I'm saying it's like any opportunity in life at all. Like take the opportunity to go skydiving, but you're afraid of heights and you wouldn't go. You're missing out on that experience.
And you,
Yeah,
and
it could
you,
be a
and
good
you,
experience.
yeah, you could go there and go, oh my god, this is
The best thing. Like I was afraid of roller coasters for ages. My friends could go to Fort Park with them. Best day of my life.
There we go. Yeah, yeah, that's the sort of same viewpoint I have as well. It's sort of, it's a boundary that you have to overcome in order to.
Yeah, I think that one's quite a...
Fear cripples you.
Yeah, it stopped you, because
And in
at
some
the end of the day,
cases-
it's irrational, isn't it? There's no rationality behind fear. It's the only thing there isn't. Everything else in life, there's rationality, there's reason behind it. Fear is the only thing that has no reason, because there is no reason for you to do some of this stuff, because it's perfectly safe. You're just scared of it. Like spiders in the corner of your room, like the little spiders, not the poisonous
I'm
ones.
okay with them.
You're scared of them, aren't you? Well, some people are. There's no reason to be scared of them. They're harmless. So... It is. It's the weirdest thing in the world, fear, because it is the only thing in the world that doesn't follow logic and reason. There's nothing behind it.
Well, there is, though. That's the thing. The thing with fear is, psychologically, is that, fear is mainly to do with either trouble or pain. That's basically the thing behind it. You don't want to, or scared even.
Or just fearing the unknown.
It's just basically being afraid or scared of something.
You've pretty much just read out of the dictionary what fear means, but yeah. Okay, next quote.
Well, that's basically what it is.
If there is a next quote.
Okay. Ralph Waldo Emerson, a poet.
And he didn't know it.
Genius always finds itself centuries too early.
Basically, I guess you could say that with technology, because some things are, way above its time, ahead even. Like,
I think it's when a person's
Can you
above
paste it in the
time.
Skype chat so I can have a look?
Yeah, genius. Someone that's really smart.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, for example, like Half-Life 2, that's way above its time. And,
I think the
I feel like
perfect.
technology, iPhones, and, everyone, movies, and, make it seem like it's, like, in, like, iPads, for example, or, like, in 2030, and stuff like that, but they've come, like, years earlier. That's just a quick example.
I think the perfect person to sort of use this quote for, and it sort of explains him perfectly, is Leonardo da Vinci. Because everything he sort of did in his time, it was centuries too early. He did his sketchings and all his medical sketchings. They were used until the 20th century. That was, it was only when we had new modern technology that we realised, they weren't as useful. Also, he came up with all the stuff that we use now in modern warfare, like helicopters, planes, and all that. He
Modern
had
warfare
sketches
too.
of them.
submarines.
USA.
Leonardo da Vinci was the guy he didn't come up with it, he didn't
Headshot.
invent it. He did sketch the first tank in use,
Nuke.
structure, which a shielded structure with a cannon on it.
Stop camping. Alright.
I like how this is Scotland
Oh,
philosophy
me
to
too.
Lord Dog.
Noob soup. Oh, hacker, saw me. Even though I was running.
Back to the topic of conversation.
You're all terrible people,
Oh, aimbot.
especially you.
Okay,
Darling.
sorry.
Especially
Darling,
you.
quiet, be quiet.
This is what happens when we try to turn the show to a highbrow. We try to add some class, and
And then Dalek.
Dalek comes. No, we have the new opener for our show. That's a very sort of posh. It's a good one. That's a good opener for the show. An introduction. Yeah.
So yeah. So you have my view on the quote then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's get you in here.
Well, yeah. Well, I already am here, but the genius always finds itself a century too early. I'm interpreting that as just things are often not appreciated at the time for how great they are. Like genius itself, just a boring
That's a
example,
good one. Yeah.
opinion. But things are often under appreciated until much later on, when they're being used repeatedly or consistently. And I can't think of a good example of anything which I should be able to do.
There's
I
that
can't.
what's it? Funny quote, isn't it? If you want to make a good piece of art, make it, then kill yourself, because it's sort
Value
of a
goes up
quote.
when you die.
Yeah, it's a bit of a parody about the fact, all these famous artists, most of their work wasn't really viewed and thought of as genius until they died. Like you have Van Gogh and all that. They weren't really considered artists until they had died. Picasso's one as well. Yeah. What do you think of that, Adam?
Sorry, I just went downstairs. Are you still talking about this previous quote?
Yeah.
Okay, pretty much what I think of this is you sort of, the idea of being a genius means you're on top of that current time period's sort of progression, if you get what I mean. So, for example, you're a genius if you
If you're a
invent.
pioneer, basically.
Yeah, if you're a pioneer. So
You're taking stuff to the new level. You're coming up with new things.
yeah, you're always, and I just think it's sort of. I keep saying sort of. I need to find a new word to fit in my vocabulary. Yeah, it's like a genius is always someone that reaches a new high, and it goes into the next level rather than a genius of the current time.
Yeah, they push things forward.
Yeah, but I think that there should be other versions of geniuses other than the people that sort of push things forward. You could be a genius of something now, even if you wanted to go like backwards. You're still technically a genius. Well,
Well, I think the actual definition of a genius is to have an IQ of something, isn't it?
of what?
To have a minimum IQ. There's like an IQ level. You've got to have a. I think that's the sort of real definition of it. But I think most people see a genius as someone who does literally push something forward.
Yeah.
They do something because you've got people like Nikola Tesla, Albert
Tesla.
Einstein.
Mm-hmm.
These are all people who pushed forward in their field.
Yeah.
They literally made the world as it is today. They changed the world and made it as it is today. Like Albert Einstein was the reason we have nuclear power plants and such.
But would you classify someone like Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg as a genius?
Yeah, they're genius in their field. Steve Jobs turned something that's relatively, he's a genius in marketing. There was stuff like phones already out, iPods already out and all that. He took it and he made this sort of image for the company, what is now the biggest company in the world. Yeah, he's a genius at what he does. So's Bill Gates. Bill Gates took something, he took software that no one was paying for before him, and he took software and he was, he put a price on it. He created thousands of companies because now people can actually sell software, where beforehand it was just the hardware he was buying and all the software came free.
Even though Windows sucks and they should work on it more.
A nice professional, mature view.
Always complaining.
No, I'm dead serious. There's so many flaws with Windows. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, let's save that for another day. Carry on.
There's loads of genius. All being a genius means is that you have a field and you're pushing it forward and you're doing it better. Like you said, you can have geniuses who do stuff that you can be a genius at history. You can do history and you can record things. You can find new stuff in. You can be an archaeologist and go in and find like the tombs of things. You can be a genius at anything you really want to. There's music, there is art, there's photography, there's culture. Then there's the more sort of intelligent matters like maths. You can come up with new theories to do stuff. It's everywhere.
Maybe, Chris, you could be a pioneer and reinstall Skype to make sure it stops cutting out.
Has it cut out for a while though?
No, but now I've said that, it will. That's the thing.
Probably.
Why did you jinx it?
But yeah, I just have to say props to you, Chris, for coming up with this idea for the show. It's pretty much a very interesting one, rather than just rambling on about stuff like the new Portal coming out and Dalek saying how he loves Max Payne.
I guess you could kind of say I'm a genius at podcasting.
You're
I could say it. No, I personally wouldn't say it. I don't want to
but
sound
whether or not
up.
it'll be true or just fabrication.
I consider myself a genius, to be honest. I sort of push intelligence forward. I do stuff, that makes people think. Because that's sort of what the world is.
Construct a sentence in the English language. I'm joking.
I can. You can have your own beliefs and opinions, but you can't have your own facts.
What do you mean?
Well, that's a good quote there, isn't it?
How is it? What?
That's one of my favourite quotes from recent people. That you can have your own beliefs and opinions, but you can't have your own facts.
Unless you have your own team of researchers and pay them.
No, the thing is, a fact is a fact for everyone, isn't
Yeah, I
it?
know.
That is a fact. You can't change it, and I think it's sort of.
My response was a joke. And then silence fell across the courtroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, your definition of genius is different from mine.
What's your
Yeah,
definition?
I see genius as someone who's like not a pioneer, but they're doing something like innovative and new. Whereas someone who's good at what they do is just talented and not a genius. Like for me, that's like a clear-cut definition.
Yeah, but
between-
someone doing something different and new, something that is pushing
If they're doing
stuff
something
forward,
different and
isn't it?
new, then they're a genius. But if they're doing like something that's already been like established beforehand, but they're really good at it, then I'd say they're talented.
You're not a genius. You're an innovator. Because if you innovate, you're innovating a pre-existent thing. Or not, or you're just going to completely disagree and say shut up.
I'm going to respectfully disagree and say genius is someone who's doing something new and innovative. I'm saying innovator does the same thing as well.
So what about a computer genius? Because computers aren't new, are they?
What kind
But no,
of-
genius just means smart at
Technology.
something.
There you go. It doesn't mean something new. That's wrong.
Yeah.
That is completely wrong.
I'm
in my
saying
opinion.
Right,
Well,
this is different.
something new is like, I don't know, innovative, I guess.
Pioneer or something.
Yeah.
You would call Stephen Hawking a genius, wouldn't you? Most of his work's based off work that Albert Einstein did. He's just furthering it.
He's
No,
pushed,
Expanding it.
yeah, he's pushed it forward.
Yeah, he's using information we have now, and he's adding to his work, and he's picking out the bits that aren't exactly true, and he's adding the bits that are true. So he's pushing forward his field.
Yeah, you're pushing it forward. You're a genius. But if
Yeah.
you're doing something else that someone else has already done without adding to it, you're just talented at what you're doing, or copying.
So what person would you say is not a genius, but is considered a genius by many people, but you disagree about it?
Steve Jobs.
What, you wouldn't call Steve Jobs a genius?
Well, not really. I mean, I
Be
just think it's
respectful, by the way.
overhyped. In my opinion. I mean, you know, he did a good job at, you know.
He created the
inventing-
company that is now the biggest company in the world, and it's from his ideas to expand the phone and the iPod market. And he created a thing, like the iPod, the iPhone. You know, that just image of having I in front of saying the iPad. You know, that is
Yeah, but-
one of the biggest things in the world at the moment.
Yeah, no, but what if it's? I think so. You know, what about the other people that you know made it too? You know, I don't think he just entirely made the idea up on his own.
Of course not. But he was one of the before you know, he got fired, and then he came back, and then when he came back, he was the guy who said we should be doing this type of thing. Obviously, he wasn't on his own when he's doing it, but most geniuses don't work on their own. They have
No,
you know,
I mean
people help
like I don't think he did like mainly most of the stuff.
I think that's one of the things we're really not going to know. But it was the time he came back to work, and I think he was the person saying, "These are the markets we need to expand in. You know, we can't just build a."
But one
company
thing, but Apple itself as well, because you know they release iPhone and iPhone 5, 6, 7, you know, every 5, 6 months, and then people just buy it. I mean, there's no massive difference.
Yeah, that's something he made though. He made the fact that he made the people want it. You know, he sort of, because before then, literally a phone would come out and that was the top phone for about a year. He's sort of made this sort of push into the smartphones, and think how many smartphones there are out there now. The iPhone was sort of the first real smartphone
True
that he
that.
sort of put in place, and other people were sort of going with this idea that we can have phones now that are pretty much small PCs, you know, with all these applications and such.
Mm.
I would call Steve Jobs a genius. I would call Steve Jobs, you know, Bill Gates, not really Mark Zuckerberg, to be honest. He did something and he made it, you know, he did something and he made it popular, but there was already social networking in place before he did it.
Yeah, like you know, MySpace and other sites.
Yeah, I wouldn't exactly call it. He did something and he did it brilliantly, but he didn't do it at a level that would be considered, you know.
Insane,
disagree,
he's
because then
genius.
Talented.
I disagree because this then goes back to the thing that you were saying, that people adding to things that are new can be geniuses too. Why are not Mark Zuckerberg in that category then? Because social networking has obviously existed for ages. So he took an idea and made it better. Does not make
I
him a
don't think
genius?
he did. I don't think he pushed it forward that much. So I don't think it was enough. Like, he didn't push it forward to the point that it was that big of a push forward. You know, looking back at the quote, genius always finds itself a century too early. So in my head, a genius is someone, if he didn't exist, we won't have this technology he discovered and sort of put in place for years into the future. I don't think if Facebook wasn't here, I think another social networking site would have happened that was
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
similar. I don't think he did something that I could clearly say, you know, if Mark Zuckerberg didn't exist, we would not have social networking as it is now for the next 50 years. I don't think that's true. I don't think he would be considered a genius by most people. He did something and he did it brilliantly, but he didn't do it at the standards that I think has put its path in history.
Yeah, I agree.
Would you say he's talented at what he does?
Yeah, he's
See?
brilliant.
Talented.
He's talented at what he does. He
Not
isn't a
genius.
genius here, though.
So
Do you disagree with that, Adam? Do you think he is a genius?
Well, I'm not sure if you can actually hear the Hoover in the background, but I'm just gonna say anyway.
Can't.
Yeah, of course he is. How can you? I don't see how you can dispute the Mark Zuckerberg, someone who's made. Well, forget about the money. He's managed to essentially create a database of people and sell their information to profit greatly. And
Yeah, but this was already in place.
it
All
was
he
already
did.
in place, but he had the knack to come along and go, you know what, I'm gonna make it work.
Yeah, all he did was made it so became bigger. It was already there. He didn't push something forward. If I don't think if Facebook existed, I think something else would. Very similar to Facebook. I don't think he made this happen years before it should have happened. I think he was just one of the, it was already here. He was just one of the people who sort of came round and used the idea. Instead of making social networking and letting everyone do it, he slowly did it one at a time at colleges. And he sort of took the market that, college kids want to keep up with other colleges. I don't think he did something that's, you're thinking in your head, that's clever. We would never have seen that if he didn't come up with it. He just had a very clever marketing strategy.
Yeah, but so do you think Steve Jobs is a genius?
Yeah.
So what's to say someone won't come along and just go, I'm going to make that. Anyone could have come along and done that.
They could have, but I don't think they would have. Because there wasn't anything really beforehand that was similar to it. There was nothing similar to the sort of Apple branding that we see now. This isn't just a random product. This is a cult following behind Apple. The whole entire image, think of hipsters nowadays. If you think of the sort of iconic hipster, it's someone who buys Apple products and, all these other things. I think the whole entire image he's created with Apple is just genius in itself. He sort of created this sort of, look at it. Just go to any sort of university or college. Every bloody person has a MacBook Pro or something. He's just created this new sort of this big thing.
Well, on that note, guys, let us know what you think about any of the stories or anything we discussed today. This has been Adam and Brett and Chris and Dalek with another episode of Talking Through the Hat. Sadly, due to technical problems, we won't actually have an outro today. So goodbye from us, and we look forward to reading your emails. Thanks a lot.
Goodbye.
See you guys.
Bye.
It's been good.